Welcome to our channel. If you enjoy stories that inspire faith and hope, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a new video. Today's story comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 14, verses 13 through 21. In this powerful story, we'll see how Jesus shows his compassion and provides for thousands in a miraculous way. Let's dive in. In a time when people were searching for hope, just like many of us today, Jesus was there to give them what they needed. One day, after a long journey of teaching and healing, Jesus and his disciples went to a quiet place to rest. They thought they could have some time alone, but word spread quickly. Thousands of people heard that Jesus was near, and they were eager to see him, to hear his words, and to find comfort in his presence. Before long, a massive crowd had gathered on the hillside by the sea. Men, women, children, young and old, all coming to see Jesus. So Jesus began teaching. All day long he spoke to the crowd about God's love and the kingdom of heaven. His words were full of wisdom and comfort, and the people listened with open hearts, hanging on every word. As the sun began to set, the disciples grew concerned. They approached Jesus and said, "Master, it's getting late, and this is a remote place. Send the people away so they can go to the nearby villages and buy food for themselves." But Jesus had a different plan in mind. With a gentle smile, he looked at his disciples and said, "They don't need to go away. You give them something to eat." The disciples were puzzled. They looked at the huge crowd. There were over 5,000 people gathered there. How could they possibly feed so many people? They barely had enough food for themselves. One of the disciples, Philip, spoke up and said, "Master, even if we had 8 months' worth of wages, we couldn't buy enough bread for each person to have even a small bite." Just then another disciple, Andrew, stepped forward. He had found a young boy in the crowd who was willing to share his lunch. The boy had 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. It wasn't much, but he offered it with a humble heart. Jesus looked at the boy's offering and smiled. "Have the people sit down," he told his disciples. They did as Jesus said, organizing the people into groups and having them sit on the grass. Once everyone was seated, Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He lifted his eyes to heaven, gave thanks to God, and blessed the food. Then he began breaking the loaves and fish, handing pieces to his disciples to distribute to the crowd. Amazingly, the food never ran out. As the disciples passed it from person to person, each one had enough to eat. The bread and fish multiplied in their hands, and they were able to feed everyone in the crowd. The people ate as much as they wanted, and there was plenty for all. When everyone had finished eating, Jesus told his disciples to gather the leftovers so that nothing would be wasted. The disciples went around and collected 12 full baskets of leftover bread. It was more than they had started with. The crowd was astonished. They knew this was a miracle, and they realized that Jesus had the power of God. In that moment, they saw God's love and provision. Jesus had taken a small offering and turned it into a feast that satisfied thousands. He provided for them not only with food, but with hope and faith. The crowd saw that in Jesus there was a power far greater than any they had ever known, a power that could meet their needs and fill their hearts. After witnessing this miracle, the people began to understand that Jesus wasn't just a teacher or healer. He was the Son of God, the one sent to bring them closer to God and to show them his love. Many in the crowd left that day with their hearts full of faith, having seen firsthand the power of trusting in Jesus. As we reflect on this story, we're reminded that even when we feel like we don't have enough, whether it's food, strength, or hope, Jesus can take what little we have and multiply it. He can turn our scarcity into abundance, our doubts into faith, and our worries into peace. Like the people on the hillside, we're invited to trust in Jesus, who is always ready to provide and care for us, especially when we put our faith in him. No matter how uncertain or difficult times may seem, Jesus is with us, just as he was with the 5,000 that day. Now let's end in a short prayer. Dear Jesus, thank you for being our provider and for always caring for us. Just as you fed the crowd and filled their hearts with hope, we ask you to fill us with your love and peace. Help us remember that, even when we feel like we don't have enough, you are with us, ready to multiply our faith and meet our needs. Teach us to trust in you and be grateful for all the blessings you give us daily. May we always look to you for strength and find peace, knowing that you are our constant source of hope. If you enjoyed this story, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories of faith. Thank you for watching, and may you feel blessed and encouraged today.